Can you let the
Oh yeah.
can you enable
Zoom.
sharing?
By the way, I don't know if you've already tried the Zoom AI companion, but
I have not.
it's amazing. It's an amazing
Yeah,
recap tool.
it takes
Uh,
your notes and summarizes the meetings.
I'm like really, really
It's pretty
accurate. Um, I used it the other day, I think by accident actually, with for an interview that I did uh for for uh for Zoom, and it was incredibly accurate, capturing the whole conversation in every stage of that conversation. I was astounded. Better than if I had recapped it myself to somebody. Put it that way.
That's that's pretty awesome. Now I haven't tried it. I've used other AI note takers there, and they've all worked really well.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that the Zoom one works well. Is this
Anyway,
the is this the announcement that you guys were talking about? This is the one that Hector sent us. That's it. Okay.
uh,
Yeah, I knew it was a foundation somewhere in there. I'm like, it's a foundation or a panel or
Yeah. So yeah, they're not, I mean, they're not the yeah, I mean the IP is still hot. It's just it was just not taking advantage of it. We have all those episodes done. We actually just pitched it to Planeta Junior, which is a big distributor out of Europe. Um, so we'll see. We're just having those conversations. We signed the NDAs. We've been going back and forth, and they're reviewing things now. But we'll see where it goes. If ultimately
so.
we can't find a distributor that will work with us, then we'll just go straight to YouTube and see if we can create an audience ourselves.
so Jose, let me ask you this question. The show, um how does the end of the actors strike impact this potentially in any way, shape, or form?
It doesn't. Like all the rights were given back to Hector and his partner Carlos once Univision didn't distribute it. And so they owned all the rights and the IP. The only thing that's possible contract wise, because all the contracts where everything was work made for hire, there were no royalties that were paid out to any of the creators, so everything's owned with Hector and Carlos. The only caveat is the Actors Guild, we or SAG, right? That contract Hector and Carlos couldn't find, so we have actually three groups of lawyers that have reached out to SAG to be like, hey, are there any royalties, or do you know what the royalty scheme is for these? Because we have some really big people. Like I don't know, the episode I sent you had Oscar De La Hoya in it. So we have some really big people in it, but SAG's never responded back to us. So we're not gonna worry about it um until they come after us. And realistically, they're not gonna do anything unless we're making money. And if we're making money, then they're gonna come and then we're gonna be like, well, we sent you 8,000 emails and you didn't respond. Now we're making money and now you want something. Okay, well tell us what we owe you and then we can work it out kind of thing. So but that's the only small little like blip that we don't have insight into.
I think that sounds like a small blip, but I would recommend, do you guys currently work with somebody that's a copyright attorney of some sort?
Yeah, yeah. We have four legal teams that we have on our site. We do all our business through Wilson Sonsini, which is a big firm out of well, they're a big international firm.
Hmm.
Um, and then we have a small boutique firm that's run by a gentleman called Usman that does nothing but film, and then we have a larger film firm by a lady named Debbie Flores, who runs based out of California, out of LA.
So that's a funny response, because it's almost like you have four lawyers on it. Why four? That's almost too much.
All for different things, all for different things, and because they're also all different price points. So if we need a very simple thing and we don't want to be paying $1,200 an hour, then we'll ask the cheaper lawyer. If there's something more complex and bigger that we need to kind of scare somebody, we'll bring in a heavy name and be like, hey, you want to fuck around and find out? Let's fuck around and find out.
Are these people that you work with already before, Jose, from your previous projects?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fox and Rothschild is who Debbie works with, and also I like Debbie's Latina, so I like working with Latinos.
Okay.
I love it.
So
Fuck around and find out is my favorite statement ever.
It is what it is, you know.
It's true. It
Because
says
I
so
mean,
much.
we're a small studio, so I mean, sometimes people, you know, especially
You take it for granted.
yeah, they take it for granted. We're like, no, we're not. You know, we're small, but we know what we're doing.
If you want to not have your foot up
Jose,
when forgetting
regarding so regarding that property, they have 20. How many episodes did they have?
There's 13 episodes, 22 minutes each.
Okay. And they are, I think they are online, right?
No, we haven't released anything.
I forgot what was it that it was filmed, was it like 20 years ago?
Yeah, Univision.
It's funny that just VIX hasn't picked it up. Because
Yeah,
it seems like a very easy, like just turn the knob on, and they need content. They're always looking for content. And this content is
It's I'll tell you exactly what it is.
what is it?
It
Right?
is the ego of programming. It wasn't bought by the current team. They don't want to see it.
I don't know if he's ever pitched it to VIX. I have not pitched it to VIX. I don't have any contacts there.
And you know your cousins went there too.
Well, we
Adriana,
That's
did.
interesting. Actually, the person now that would be actually doing kids programming, her name is Belay. She was the head of programming for Mundo, so what turned into Universo. So she and I worked closely together when I was at Telemundo. But again, it's a very egocentric world in that space. You know what I mean? Like if it was already there and it wasn't by them, I listen. I would happily make the contact. She's actually a wonderful person, good to deal with even for future projects. So I'll make that introduction anyway. But it happens all the time, man. When we were when I was at Universal Kids, it was the same thing. Which, by the way, it's another contact I'd love to make. Is I think the person that was in development at Universal Kids when I was there came back. I'm trying to remember his last name. I think it's Krupkin or something like that. But I'll make the introduction to him as well.
Yeah, bro. We'd love to see if we can make something happen here. It sounds like
It's so funny that I literally had not even had that thought until right now when you mentioned Vic. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'll reach out to them.
Please, yeah, make the intros to both of those. That'd be great. Thank you, Alex.
So, Jose, why don't we go ahead and okay, let's put Abaldo aside for a second. Let's focus for now for a second on the metaverse.
Yeah.
And pop that up. Did you create that background by any chance, or just it's out there?
There was a basic one that was out there, and then we edited it. Where I was like, oh, I like that. I'm gonna steal it. All right, here you go. Then, all right, so this is the high level concept. I didn't put anything like super fancy together, but this is just really high level concept that had the team put. So my idea is to create a virtual theme park that we've talked about, right? That people can visit from anywhere in the world. But we want to make it something that's community driven, which is very Latino, right? That's something that people can do together. That's for all ages, just like any other kind of theme park would be for all ages. The caveat though is I want to do something that's never been done before because of the new abilities that Oculus 3 gives us, right? That the fact that you now have both virtual reality and augmented reality that you can potentially switch from that you haven't really had in previous headsets. So it's something that specifically would only really work for Oculus 3 in the way that we want it to work exactly. You could still use it on the other Oculuses. It just wouldn't have the transitions that I want to make into the Oculus 3. But because it hasn't been done before, you know, there's a lot of interesting kind of queries and questions that will come up. But my concept is something that they can switch from a virtual reality world to an augmented reality world. So we're going to have the virtual world there that people could come visit, right? And they can work together, and you'll have your typical things that you would have in a theme park, but every theme park has different sections, and we want to create different sections into this theme park that you can have like an overview world, right? A God view or a bird's eye view of the world. and you can kind of choose where you want to go. If you want to go to the food world, or if you want to go to the TV and film world, or you want to go to Car Valley or historical figures world. And then you can kind of go to those sections. Once you go into those sections, then you're actually experiencing the world, right? You can walk around the world together with you and your kids. Let's say you and your brother lives in Miami, you live in LA. You guys can visit it together, or your families can visit together, and you guys can kind of walk around the worlds together. You can see each other, interact with each other in this virtual theme park. However, once you go, let's say, into the specific exhibit, then it can switch into an augmented reality world. So give you a couple of examples. If like you want to go see a historical figure giving a speech, right? Like the Si Se Puede speech or something like that. You can click on that particular attraction and it will take you out of the virtual world, and then wherever you are, if you're in your living room or whatnot, then you start seeing that speech in your living room. The person pops up in front of you. You're in a crowd and you're actually experiencing the speech in your own living room. Or let's say you're in the car, a historical car, so you want to go see a low rider. It takes you out of the world, and then you see the low rider in front of you, and you can kind of walk around it in real time. And then once you're done, you go back to the virtual world. So it'll be a mix of a virtual experience and an augmented reality experience. That's kind of what I want to create, and that's the vision that I have, because it hasn't been done before. And with this particular headset, I think we can do some really, really special things, like bring people to those historical things that are really important to us, that were major milestones and landmarks, and also gives us a different way to interact with the content. And yet it's still a sense of community, because you can still visit everything together and see certain things together and experience it all at the same time. So you and your kid could go to the theme park, but then you could have it in your living room. And if you and your child, let's say your whole family, you're there, you could have the car pop up in front of everybody, and then everybody's kind of walking around it and maybe even interacting with it. Like someone can open a door, someone can push a button. So that's the high level concept. I know we need kind of a rough, at least from what our buddy from Meta said, we need kind of a rough demo to show them to kind of help kind of grease the wheels. I think a rough demo that we want to make it nice, that's smooth, that's multiplayer. I think we're looking at trying to get between 100 and maybe 130 to be able to create kind of a rough demo of the high level world, multiplayer options, people can jump in, and then having like one scenario that's augmented reality that will pop up. So obviously we're not going to have the whole world. It's just going to have a basic aspect of the virtual experience and the augmented reality experience.
Do you think it would be about 100 to 130,000?
That's what I think. Yeah.
The concept is amazing, man. I love that. I've. It's so funny that to me, AR, I always felt was going to be more important than VR, because being able to stay in your surrounding feels more natural for someone. But being able to go in and out of it like this, very. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second, please. There's an argument happening here.
Yeah, no school today.
No, it's actually my daughters are doing. Well, my oldest is doing a tour of St. Brendan this morning.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Anyway, so that idea of going in and out of the worlds, I think is amazing. There's something that I saw. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it's like this. It's like a cube. It looks like it has all these different QR codes around it, and they can all be programmed and printed even and laminated, so that you're actually holding something in your hand tactically, and what you're seeing through the AR experience is whatever object is programmed to be, right? So if it's a heart, a car, or whatever, and you're able to actually physically move it with your hand. And this reminds me of that, and I thought that was amazing.
No, my first reaction to this, which is sort of the draft of what I've thought about it, of what I've thought about this world too, is it's reminiscent of Epcot. And ironically, of course, Epcot has Mexico, and it has that little ride that takes you.
That's that sign right there at the bottom. The Gran Fiesta with
Oh,
Donald Duck.
that's right. That's from Epcot, right? Yeah. I haven't been to Epcot in forever, though. I really haven't been to Epcot in forever. Is it still around the same way?
No, it's the whole thing is updated. But have Jose, have you been on?
It's like a throwback to Epcot,
Yeah,
but
have you been on Avatar?
Yeah, I have. I love it.
Yeah, that feeling is what I get, sort of being able to be immersed into that. Is
Yeah,
the first time that I rode that, I left there and I thought it was the greatest ride that I've ever experienced in my life.
it's a
And
fantastic ride. Yeah.
I haven't been on the Star Wars one, the one that they say is supposed to be the best one. But this, if we're able to, if, from a VR perspective, accomplish something like that, I think it's going to be overwhelming.
I think we will, and I think I think the augmented reality component and bringing it into your own living room, I think that's just an added kind of plus,
And you're talking about kind of the community experience when people are far away, but I think it's just as importantly for multiple people in the room, if they're together with more than one headset, for that sort of AR experience to be experienced together would be
Mhm.
crazy.
100%. Yeah. Like I was saying with the car, if the car's in front of you, like you and your girls, you guys can all interact with it and do different things to the car. And you'll be seeing the car change as they like open the door, or turn the car on, or have it like bounce up and down or whatever they're doing.
no, you
Yeah.
can. It could be where you walk up to the lowrider room. Let's call it the lowrider exhibit, and these are all real lowriders, by the way, that we've totally massively magically digitized. And you're also able to switch between which car you want to see in front of you. Clink, 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 and then you're like, oh, check this one out. And
Pickup is at 12:30.
you take a tour, uh, and maybe you can even do one where you activate the um the VR version of it, and in that one, it could do like its little hopping or whatever there, just to show you how that works. So that one is the easiest one and clearest one. Then there's another one that could be artifacts. Like artifacts could be um a place where you go and you can see a bunch of really cool artifacts by switching. So you can go from Celia Cruz's dress to Tito Puente's bongo drums or whatever. I'm just giving you examples, but uh,
Yeah. No, I love it.
historic document, right? That you
Yeah.
can close up. And
I think the historical figures in their speeches would
Oof.
honestly be really, really
the
get
thing is
powerful.
that
I know you don't like to get political, but to be honest,
no.
ev-
If we have them, which we don't necessarily have them, I think we're thinking that there's more generous content out there about what they're saying and where than there might be available. One of the issues that we run into with producing nuestras stories is that it really, really takes a lot of research sometimes to find stuff because our history is erased. Our
yeah.
history was not recorded in some cases.
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct. But with that, we can take some creative liberties then with those kinds of things, right? If we can kind of at least give you an interpretation, and we can always let people know that this is not, 100% factual. This is part, creative interpretation of the
Yeah,
events, kind of thing.
No,
Like movies do.
exactly right.
Yes.
so
Exactly right.
and then the other thing is we can go to uh this one other area that we could call our 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 historic monuments, right?
Mhm.
Historic monuments, again, it's a historic monuments land or whatever we want to call it, is that one place where you could take a virtual tour of, and that one is probably more
Yeah, those
virtual
were like
reality.
5 months.
What I love about the theme park concept is that it gives you that license to group things in different ways to create interesting experiences, right?
Yeah.
Not just having to be one thing. Like this is the music exhibit. This is the, you know what I mean? Like they're not to say they can't be that also, especially in the digital world. You can maybe even offer the option to sort things in different ways, right? To you can see them very differently. But that experience of a theme park, I feel, gives a lot of license for that. I love that because you can do, if there was a a music land, right? That could be everything from playing instruments to watching concerts to you know, to learning something, right? Learning to play something with a professional. But then it also gives you the ability, like you said, historical figures. So now you're able to jump around different parts of the world. You're able to jump around. I love all of it.
Girls, when they let you out,
So Jose, I think the key question is, let me ask you two questions about this, because I think we can come up with the ideas here, and I want to suggest a path, like a now more even specific path for what we're talking about. So my first question is, and it's theoretical, I'm just asking you. Let's suppose that you priced this out and said, Manny, Alex, the draft of this so that we can go to Meta, but actually we can go to anybody else. It's going to definitely cost about 110,000. I'm just throwing this out there. If we were to come up with our half, would you be able to come up with your half now? Or would you want to wait and say, hey, let's try to get somebody to fund this? Because honestly, I feel somebody should fund this for sure.
Yeah.
But I just want to know what would be. Are you open to either way?
I'm open to either way. We could definitely put some money into it for sure. I don't know if we could put in all like half of it, 50%, but we could definitely put some money into it. And we would, but I would prefer if we got somebody to help fund it.
Yeah, no,
because that's
we do too, bro. We do too, and we're definitely not going to try to spend any money on this. From our pockets, we think that this is something that's big enough and innovative enough that the right brand could be. By the way, Alex, we have to follow up with our friend from Lexus today. Let's follow up with this guy from Lexus who had expressed a deep interest in this project.
You know, I'm now that the whole concept of the theme park kind of gave me some other thoughts as well, even involving maybe some potential entertainment companies. When you think of Disney or Universal or Comcast, is that someone that we would want to get involved for something like this? Or do we feel that as
not for their theme?
That as like
no, not for their theme parks, and they're not. There, I could tell you this from working. I worked extensively with Disney, and Angela did too. I mean, extensively. The only thing we never saw from Disney was going underneath their tunnels yet, and we probably could have done that too. These companies that run these theme parks are severely protective and
I get it. I'm saying let's assume that now over the last X number of years, so they know that they have to change their business. Bob Iger coming back and making a big difference in all of that, I think showcases that. Let's assume that it's not the personal aspect of it. I'm talking about conceptually for us involving a company like that, whether it be Comcast or because Comcast especially does a lot
Comcast,
of
yes,
from an education. Hold on a minute, from an education standpoint and things like that. So I'm wondering, do we feel that that's a good fit if we went out to them?
From a media company perspective, yes, but I would not try to make it seem like it's something that we're indirectly pitching as they have theme parks. They're church and state, and they're very.
No, man. I was just saying that when the idea of theme parks came up, and made me think of these entertainment companies. From there, I was thinking of all these different players in that space.
Yeah,
do
absolutely.
We feel
absolutely
again? And I'm asking Jose also because again, you guys fill a very specific space as a production company, and whether that's a good fit to also bring someone that like that. I'm just saying, just so we can kind of plan our steps and see who we prioritize.
From my perspective, I have no problem if we, whoever you guys think we should bring in, if even if it's a bigger player. I mean, I think we can hold our own. Obviously, someone like Disney would probably want to do it all themselves, and it is what it is. But ultimately, I would love, I think this needs to be made. So, I have no problem taking more of a back seat if there's a really big player that wants to come in and be like, hey.
No, Jose, skip that language, bro. We're gonna do We want to
Yeah.
do this with you.
No, I know, I appreciate it, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, Disney wants to get more into theme parks. Iger just came out like a day or two ago talking about how theme parks is where they see how they can get out of this
Yeah.
huge hole, and they're cutting back on media content creation. I think they said they're going to be cutting 2 billion out of
Yeah.
new content creation. So they're kind of moving away from TV and film and really doubling down on theme parks. So honestly, I think virtual theme parks it kind of makes a no-brainer sense for them to
Yeah.
do because it's kind of a bit of a combination. Um, so it's really a matter of how they want to kind of push that concept, right? Um, but yeah, my ideal go-to is maybe not even just one brand, right? We get a couple of brands and say, hey, this is brought to you by McDonald's and Lexus and Toyota kind of thing, and get them all to invest like $50,000, and then we build out the prototype, and then we pitch it to Meta and be like, hey, this is the concept that we're having. We've already built a prototype. Would you guys partner with us, and put in $1 million, and we can build out the rest of it, kind of thing, or at least a component of the rest of it.
Right. No, I love that. In
Yeah.
the public space, what are some of the avenues that you think we should dig into also? Because that's the one space where I really have it would be a learning curve for me for sure. But I know that you've played in that space considerably, Jose. So in the public space, are there foundations or elements of the government or stuff like that that we should also be looking at as far as grants, as far as things like that?
Yeah. Yes. There's some people that we should probably stay away from because they just make things a little bit more complex. So you think of your traditional big grant givers like the NSF. Great place, and honestly would make sense in some sense to go to them, especially there's this grant that they have called AZLE, Advancing Informal Science Learning, which we can kind of apply to because it's using new technology. But if you do NSF, there's usually a big research component that has to go along with it, which we don't. We can always go out and find a partner, but it means you have to cut part of the budget out to focus on the research. And then we have to let the academic partner have the time to do that kind of stuff, and kind of make the research case. But family offices, Toyota has a family office as well, that they could focus on these things. Kaiser Foundation, Ford Foundation. I think family offices kind of make a sense and a play here, in my opinion.
That's awesome.
Gates and others. And then the ones that we have better connections with, like the Hispanic Heritage Fund, or things like that. Even if they don't give a money, if they just give a logo,
Attach themselves, yeah.
exactly.
No, well, listen, Tony Tijerino is attached to this.
Well, then that helps. I mean, that helps a ton,
Yeah,
I was
he's
also even thinking someone like the Hispanic Scholarship Fund, right? To try to bring in more
Yeah,
STEM, make this part of some sort of STEM scholarship, or bring someone into the process as we're doing it, as a stunt, for someone that's kind of looking to go into that space.
100%. Yeah, and the State Department has funding for this kind of stuff. That, I mean, have you guys ever worked with them?
no,
Mm-mm.
never thought of them actually.
Yeah, the State Department, we got a grant to do a small project for them because the State Department does a lot of diplomacy, right? And they put money into these kinds of things. So that might be
That's
one that,
interesting.
yeah.
That's that's really interesting. That's really interesting.
Hmm. We should get a grant. We should get money from the United Nations to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, do you guys know Sergio de Cordova from Public Foundation?
I
Oh,
know. We have a I like Sergio. I spoke with him about 2 years ago on. He wanted to launch some other company that was more of a private company, and we had some I would say some pretty serious talks, but there's I don't have a deep comfort level with sharing this project with him per se.
Okay, that's
But he's a
fine.
cool dude. He's a cool dude. There's other connections that we have that I would rather not, not get him involved in that unless you felt, hey, he's gonna, because I think supposedly he's very, very wealthy, so he could definitely help fund this if he wanted to. But there's other connections around him that is what makes me feel like, let's do this without getting them involved.
Sorry, who is Sergio?
He's with an organization called Public.
Yeah,
I think it's PV, right? BLI.
PV. Yeah, they're kind of like a media marketing firm that focuses on they're a nonprofit, but focuses on the foundation on the United Nations SDG programs. Sergio, though, as Manny alluded to, he made his money, millions from what I understand as well, very wealthy, in marketing, in billboards specifically. Um, that's how I've understood it, and
Yeah.
it was a bit of a game from what he explained. It was like because it had to do with like working out land rights and being able to make sure that you kind of own the land before the government kind of initiated that was the only place you can do billboards. So he was a mastermind in how to do that, and that's how he made his money.
Right. When
Yeah.
all of the PR at the time was trying to clean up the cities to get rid of all of this outdoor that was creating public noise. I can't remember something like that. Yeah.
So he's based out of New York.
Yeah, no, I haven't met him in person, I think, but I think I'm saying I think is sometimes I've met people through his fantasize that I wasn't aware that I met him. And but
Well, I brought him up because you guys said maybe the United Nations, and
Yeah.
he'd be the person I'd go to. And actually, his foundation, even though he's in New York, his foundation's run by Stephen. What the hell is his last name? I forget Stephen's last name. I think Kelke or something like that. But Stephen's based in Miami. He's married to a Colombian girl. So
okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. So regarding next steps, Jose, I think we have some follow-ups to do. Send me this presentation. We're gonna follow up with P&G. I think we should follow with Walton Isaacson, Alex.
you guys know Walter Isaacson?
Well, it's not Walton Isaacson. Well, it is the agency.
Oh, it's the agency that reps him.
No,
Well, he is the face of the agency.
Oh, I had no idea.
No, I'm talking about Aaron Walton. No? What's his?
Walter Isaacson is the writer.
Oh, no.
No, Walton. Sorry, Walton Isaacson.
Walton Isaacson.
Oh, Walter.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yes, I got
No,
my.
it's fine. I was just like Walter. I love Walter Isaacson. I'm like,
No. That's what I was talking about. Is it Walton? No. So, yeah. So Aaron Walton is the founder of Walton. One of the founders of Walton Isaacson,
Yeah,
and he's a character. But the Manny was talking about one of the people on his team that's a very senior sort of innovation person that kind of is their futurist of sorts. That had a lot of interest and wanted not just want to kind of bring this to their Lexus client because he's on the Lexus team, but also to bring in other partners to help with it, right? So he says he's very well known for doing that, right? So a media company will pitch him an idea, and he'll bring together 3 other media companies to participate in the same idea and make it bigger, right? Even though they might be competitors in that for that idea, kind of make it more synergistic in that sense.
yeah.
So
Here it's a different world. We're not. Nobody touches our idea. This is us. So regarding, so I think we need to follow up with them. I think I'm gonna push Meta a little bit. I'm gonna say, hey, we can do it, but why get these Latinos to have to put $100,000 in, bro? You guys can't do that to help yourself. We got a good idea. It's even more developed. We have a second regroup. Let's just apply some pressure tactics in a good way, of course, to our friend, and get him to say, if I can't find that freaking money in our multi-billion-dollar company, what kind of company do we have, right?
yeah.
So I think it's worth following up with him as well. and showing him that we've continued that we're moving forward. And then of course we have follow up with P&G and PhD, Alex.
Yeah.
And then Alex, you said you wanted to make an intros to VIX, and what was the other studio that you talked about?
Universal Kids.
Universal
Kids.
Yeah. So let's see if we can help with that.
So his name is Christopher, by the way. Not Krupke. Christopher Updike. You can look him up. He does scripted and unscripted content at Universal Kids. He's been working in kids programming for forever. So he's again another great person, just a great personality, very positive, very always willing, always looking to kind of develop fun things. So
yeah, so let's see if we can get some traction there, and then if we can help with that, we can work that out, Jose. But let's help move forward on that. And then I want to circle back with our Nuestro World. I mean, not Nuestro World, with Two Worlds.
Entre dos mundos. Yeah, we're getting an updated pitch.
The worlds and mundos are all colliding.
Yeah. We're getting an updated pitch done by the team now. And we're actually having a writers meeting tomorrow, Saturday afternoon. So we'll get you an updated pitch ASAP.
Do you write some of the episodes? Do you?
No, I do not. I'm just there producing. So Mark Sanchez, who you met before, he's co-creator on it. This was his concept, and so we have we are developing it with him. But we're letting him, and then there's a new producer, young. It's pretty much 100% Latino team doing this. There's maybe one or two people that aren't Latino. So, but no, we're bringing in some. Yeah, we got a lot of cool things. We got there's been a lot of work on it, so you'll like it. You'll see where we're going.
So a really cool update.
Yeah. We got new art and stuff like that, and we're starting. So we're hiring the writing team now. We're having our first big writers meeting. Like we have high level for what the story is, but now we're going to be getting into actually writing the episodes and stuff like that. So yeah.
How long would it be before I could see the updated version?
Hopefully maybe a week or two. I mean, I can show you some of it now if you just want to see it because I know you're anxious. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
See, that's the reason I like working with you, bro, because you're a man of action.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm working, man. I'm working all the time. Let me see. So I'll show you some of the new art. That's what I'll show you, just so that you can get excited for it. But this is still not professional to show. But since I know you want to see it,
Not professional.
no, man. I mean, you have standards. You get, So here, this is some of the new art and logline. We created the border also to go along with it. So after discovering a mysterious artifact, Victoria, Dulce, and Geraldo must travel through a mysterious world caught between ancient Mesoamerica and the new Latinx culture. Their journey takes them to the four corners of the world as they uncover who they are and find their way back home.
So is the premise is that they're finding their way back home?
Yeah. So they find an artifact that kind of transports them, and then they gotta figure out how to get back, kind of thing. So
I love that I might be getting a little meta here, but that conceptually, that idea of home, right, and being able to get in touch with their roots, right? That is that kind of more philosophical, theoretical home to the family kind of thing. Anyway.
Yeah, this is some of the animations, some of the new animatics that we've been working on, for presenting some of the characters, but they're going to be fully fleshed out. That's why I was like, well, it's not done yet. Some more of the, like posters, animations, or illustrations that we're creating for it. Some of the turnarounds for the characters. Obviously, this is Victoria. More of the character turnarounds. So you see a lot of art here.
You know what the art
It's-
reminds me of is do you remember Boondocks?
yeah,
Oh yeah.
Especially like the facial structures remind me a little bit of Boondocks.
Pulga, Tosi, some of his
Very cool.
some of his poster art. Yeah, because we're also I mean, obviously from an IP perspective, we're also thinking about the toyeticness of
Oh
it,
yeah.
right? Stuff like that. Um,
The toyetic. I love it.
yeah, man. The jargon, it's the industry jargon, right?
What was that? There was one of these very farcical sort of movies where they're all sitting in a room and they talk about all of this merchandise for this movie franchise, and they go through the whole presentation of all the different things where they can make money, and then at the end it's like, all right, who's gonna write the script? Like the project
Yeah,
hasn't actually been created, but they already
we
have all of the ways to promote it.
yeah, that's the traditional. We do it the other way. I tell my team always think about just world building. Think about
Yep,
world building, think
I
about
love that.
making an amazing story first. We'll figure out the rest. But if we have an amazing story,
Yeah,
then people are going to be drawn to it regardless. Um, so that's how I manage at least my creatives.
no, I love that.
So these are kids that are transported back into history.
Yeah. And this is the Jade Kernel. This is what kind of starts everything off. And the Jade Kernel also has a physical form
Hmm,
that's based on, mythology.
I love this, man.
And this is the fighting form of the Jade Kernel. So you can see kind of like the anime, the Japanese perspective of it. You can hear the punk rock music playing when it turns into fighting form, and it's going to be very action packed kind of scenes when there's all these very cinematic kind of perspective.
You got to get
These,
Molotov to do the fight scene scoring, man.
I know it'd be great, right? Um, then So yeah, we're actually going to be talking to Jorge Gutierrez to see if he would jump in and at least put his name on it as EP. So we'll see where
Jorge
um,
Gutierrez is from where?
Mexicano. He does a lot of animated films.
Okay.
He did like Maya and the Three. He did what was the other one? Forget. But these are the bad guys, the forgotten essentially.
The Forgotten. That's an interesting concept too.
Yeah, the concept is that they were forgotten in creation. This is some of the 3D work that we're working um on some of the characters. This is more of the concept art. That's probably one of my favorite ones, that last one.
Go back to him.
Yeah, that was good.
Go back to it.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
It's Peso Pluma. I'm just kidding.
Maho Mano, I mean, I mean, can you imagine having Peso Pluma like play the role of one of the main bad guys? Oh my God. I mean, that'd be huge, huge. We do have a music component to it though that we do want to bring in folks like that for it.
You know what again, I think that it's when they did it, it was very
What does ECI
um
stand for?
What's up?
What does ECI stand for?
ECI?
Yeah.
That I don't know. I'll have to ask Mark and the team. I don't know what ECI stands for.
It sounds like ice.
I think it might be a play on ice. I think it might be, but I'm not sure.
yeah, it's ice backwards actually. That's
I
funny.
think that's what he's playing on. I think that is what he's playing on.
That's funny. That's a trip. So what was the name of this Yo Gabba Gabba? How they
Yo
were
Gabba
able to
Gabba.
make Yo Gabba Gabba, how they were able to make the show, even though very much for little kids, but make it very contemporary. That um, younger parents were very much still in tune with it, right? So I listen when my kids were watching Yo Gabba Gabba, the fact that they would bring Biz Markie and Jack Black and all these people onto the show and to play roles and do stuff like that. And again, that was a live action show, not animated. But I guess what I was getting at was with the music component, being able to create that cross generational interest could be very interesting as well.
You know, Alex, I wonder if we should show this to Rodrigo. Even this call that we're having today.
To what end?
Huh?
I mean, outside of the fact that it's very cool.
No, for him to marinate on this a little bit. I think I'm gonna show this to him. I think he would kind of deepen some of the understanding of what we're up to across storytelling. And who are these
So
persons?
we want to have, yeah, we want to have people from all Latinx kind of music genres that will be playing, that will have music represented within the content. So yes, we have Peso Pluma in there, as well as Bad Bunny and Maluma and kind of your other kind of big hitters. So at least conceptually, that's what we want, right?
How would the music be integrated in?
Into like the fight scenes, into the score of the different episodes and stuff like that. So that's the goal.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
there
I mean, I see it very naturally fit, especially when you talk about the focus being world creation, right? So that music tells such a story in itself that you can give the world a feeling with the right music. So I think music is an extremely important. Exactly what you were saying, even like for Wiste, man. If you think about it, the feeling, the tone, the of the moment, that all of that is so well expressed through music that having a contemporary music, a score of all of this, I think it would actually be critical to being able to create
Yeah, I was
something
thinking.
that's engaging.
I was thinking also one other thing, Jose. So it's taking place in Mesoamerica, but it could also go to the Dominican Republic and Cuba, Puerto Rico, the Taínos.
Oh, for sure. Los Caribe, Los Taínos, we've already talked about that.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan ultimately, is to really explore a lot of mythology from the whole region. It's starting in Central and South America, but then expanding into Caribbean. We've already started our research on all that to incorporate some of those things into it.
Oh, what is one episode going to cost, more or less?
Don't know yet because we haven't written the scripts or the storyboards. So
Maybe.
we'll see. We'll see. I'll give you once we have a script and storyboard, I can give you a better concept of how much one episode will cost.
Okay. Yeah, the pilot episode would be.
But if we have hell, I mean, if we can get a couple $1 million, like between 1.5 and 3, we'll make it work. We'll make it work.
Can we make it
There's
work for 12 episodes for that, or how many episodes?
yeah, we can make it work for a whole season. Um, Ideally, I would like to get to around between 2 and 3 would be, I think, fair and ideal. Um, that's what I would like, between 2 and 3 million for so if we that way we can play around with like maybe 200 an episode or something like that.
Okay.
Um,
I want to see if we bring this concept. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to set up a call with Lupe de los Santos from P&G, Alex. I want him to see this because P&G has an initiative called Widen the Screen.
Yeah, we talked about it.
And this is there. And plus, Jose has already done several shows that are already on Amazon. So it's not going to feel speculative for them, for P&G. So I'm gonna bring this to P&G, Jose, now. Can you try to give this to me in the more final form that you want to, so that we do the same exact presentation with one person, just on this. We're gonna have a presentation on this. Okay. And we definitely want to be, I think we can get this off. If P&G's real about what they said with white on the screen, I think we can do this. I think we can get this done.
Okay.
It has a lot that I think is very rich for what we're all doing together.
You guys like it?
No, of
Oh
course.
man, I love this. I love the concept. I love all of it. There's nothing that you've put on the screen that I haven't fallen in love with, Jose.
Except for the coffee mug about to hit him. Oh, it hit him in the head.
Uh, appreciate it. I gotta watch the computer actually to go around it.
So
Yeah.
so we have 3 things to do. I'm gonna send Lupe an email. Oh, look at that. So there is an astronaut dog.
Yeah, this is Ghost.
It's Ghost. Oh, it's cute. So I'm gonna put in motion a meeting with Lupe, and I will try to program it for Thanksgiving week to give you time to finish this thing, or for the first week of December. Okay. Because if he believes in something, he can help champion it. That's basically it. Second, we're going to put in motion the meta follow-up that we have. And then third, what was the third part? What was the third part, guys? There are 3 things.
Funding for the for for the pilot of or for the demo, sorry, of
I'm
Nuestro
going to
World.
follow up with this guy from Meta as well and say, hey man,
Yeah,
we
you mentioned that.
we have a more updated version of this. Help us get this going.
Yeah, I already sent you that deck already for you.
Okay.
So you already have that in your email.
All right, cool. And send me this deck. I know that it's in the draft and it's changing or whatever, but send me this deck in case Lupe says, show me something right now that I could look at and I can evaluate if we're going to do a call. I'm going to also, I want to see if our partners at Numatech take a look at it, because I want to get them thinking. So that this team is very, they're people that appreciate what we're doing, but they're used to running a platform that has pipes, and distributes stuff, right? They're not on the content side as much, but they love what we're doing, and I find what you're doing, Jose, an extension of what we're about. And I think they'll be excited to see this and perhaps find a way of either through an existing brand or through other mechanism, try to see if we can make some of these things move forward on either into the metaverse and this series that we're talking about.
Cool.
And then
Sounds good.
and then we're gonna get going on Baldo and see if we can trigger something there as well. So we'll move on that front as well right now. Today is un día feriado, so we should probably wait till Monday, Alex, so it doesn't get lost in the vacation emails. Jose, what I recommend is that we need to have, to make everything happen, we need to have, even if it's mostly a text, in some cases we may not have an update, we should have a weekly touch base on Fridays, if possible, just to make sure things are moving forward and we don't lose any momentum.
Yeah, I mean, from our side, Entre Los Mundos, we're moving that forward slowly but surely. Baldo's ready to go, and then the Nuestro Mundo virtual world. That's it's all a matter of finding the right funding partner for it.
Well, forgive me for asking this. I think you've done this, but I don't remember. Did you send me a link to the Baldo episode?
Yep. Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah, we have it.
Yeah, Alex has it.
I don't think I've seen it yet for some reason.
You're busy. You're busy.
I know, bro. I am busy, man.
You asked me to send you stuff, and I sent it to you like right away.
I know you do. No, listen, that's what I love about you, bro. You're not BS. You're action. You know.
So
I mean,
just so you know, I just sent a note to Chris and Belai. So as soon
Thank
as they
you.
respond, I will make the connection and we'll put us on a thread together. Maybe even set up a call.
yeah. Let's see here. Baldo, let's see. Let me just make sure that I got it. Okay, yeah, I have it. I just saw it.
Yeah, check it out. It's I think it's great. All the episodes are great. And yes, you can tell the animation. I mean, you can kind of tell the animation was like 20 years old, but honestly, it doesn't
Doesn't
subtract
matter.
from it.
Yeah, that
It
doesn't
doesn't
matter.
subtract. And when you're watching the episode, I mean, you'll probably catch it yourself, but just to make sure that you do look at the backgrounds because there's so much Latino culture in the background that you will love it. You will absolutely love it. Like from Cosa de Santeria, Cosa de the crosses, everything. It took me back to grandma's house. So check it out.
Santeria. It took
Oh
you.
my God, yeah. Oh my God. And La Isla, mano, for sure. I mean, you're Cuban. I mean,
I know.
yeah, you go back
I
to
personally do not like Santeria. I'm going to tell you that, but I don't know.
well, you don't need to like it, but it's still part of the
It's
culture,
still
right?
part of the culture, absolutely.
It's just there, it's just there. I mean, we're like this mixture of Catholicism and
Yeah.
and the
I
whole
know. I know. We're
My
syncretism.
I remember as a kid, my mom had a friend that he would host the most lavish Santo parties.
Oh my God.
Again, because it's such a mix of Catholicism with the representations and stuff like that. He
yeah,
would he was an interior designer by trade, right? So in his parties, he would make these gorgeous like altars, with the obviously with the patron saint and this elaborate spread of food. It was, I mean, I remember them so clearly. I must have been from like age like 7 to 10. I remember going to multiple going with my mom multiple times to these things. His name was Panchon. That's even better.
That's a great. That's a great
His
name.
name is I actually don't even know
Oh
his
my
real name,
gosh,
but
that's a
my
great
whole life,
character.
my whole life, I've only ever known him as Panchon.
He's still alive?
And no, 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 he passed a long time ago. Even when I was a kid, he was such a character. He was very flamboyant. He was, the Afro-Cuban gay man that was just like he was a presence. Like he'd walk into a room, and between his rings and his flowered shirt, and again, what you got a picture like very very white, salt and pepper, but mostly white hair, right? Again, Afro-Cuban, but there's a certain skin tone that's not like Southern black, but it's also not like it almost reminded me like somewhere between like Caribbean black and Indian. You know how the skin tone, that olive skin tone, but on the darker side. He was such a character, man. Panchong. I wish I had pictures of him right now handy to show you because it would exactly describe what that party would have been like
so funny,
if you
man.
saw him.
I used to
Yeah,
go to some of those things, and I was scared. I was mostly
No, man.
scared of the Santeros. They seemed really scary to me.
they were scary when I was young, for sure. They were scary when I was young, but now, as I'm older, I'm like, it's more like nostalgic because you're like,
Yeah.
oh man, remember grandma?
You know, there was my mom always tells a story of when she was first like exposed to it, that she actually mistakenly walked into un toque santo that was happening, right? So the drums, the whole thing, the dance, and she was mesmerized. Like my mom has always been very religious in a sense, like Catholic and church, the whole nine, but she was always very curious and obviously very superstitious about all of that stuff, right? So no, 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 yo no creo en eso, pero lo respeto.
Yeah,
That's the,
that's my dad. That's my dad. My dad's like, yo no creo en eso, pero no se diga tu
pero
Mike.
lo respeto.
Hey,
Yeah.
that stuff is real, man. My
Yeah.
mom was in that world at some point, and but she mostly scared the shit out of me.
I'm sorry, man.
I'm telling you, I've seen stuff uh that was really weird. Really, really weird. I mean, really weird in a scary way. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I don't have any fond memories of it. Mike,
Oh,
it's mostly creepy. But I saw stuff that I know is real. Like I'm telling you, that stuff is a real thing that there is invisible stuff in the world. You know, we don't live in just this material stuff, you know. And I saw that through my mom and her friends. My mom had friends that were panchon style. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. No, anyways.
So
Okay,
I know we're over time, but I'd love to tell you guys one super tangent story that's related to
I go for
So
it.
my wife is also very much a believer in all of that stuff, right? So ella lo respeta, but she also like, so I don't know if I've mentioned, but or to you, Jose, I know many knows. All my girls dance, right? So they dance competitively. They're at a studio. There's this one family, right? Mind you, the girl's literally 6 years old. Their daughter is 6 years old, and my youngest is 7, right? So in my mind, again, they're 6 and 7, right? But this one family, my wife is convinced that the grandmother's a witch, is a witch. Like she's like, ever since they came to the studio, me le están poniendo mal de ojo. Every time there's a week of competition, Livy gets sick, and I know that it's her, and this and that. So the first convention of the year was last month, right? And my youngest was going to compete at it. The other two weren't, but my youngest was. And that week she falls, like on Wednesday, she falls. She says, "Oh, her stomach hurts and she wasn't feeling well, whatever." And my wife, she she just like lost. I told you, that's it. I'm gonna have a meeting at the studio. And I said, "What? What are you possibly going to say in that meeting when you ask the studio owners to come together with the parents and grandparents of this little girl? Are you going to sit there and say, she's putting spells on my kid?"
I
Anyway,
That's funny, man.
yes.
that's my life right now.
Oh, that's but see, Manny, there's still ways to kind of find humor in things like this.
Oh no, I listen. Have I told you these two anecdotes? I'm not gonna go into tangent right now. You'll see why I'm freaked out. But yeah, I witnessed stuff. Witnessed stuff
I
myself
believe you, but
that, you know, one of them which I cannot even explain. In fact, two of them which I cannot even explain, that were terrifying.
no. I'm
So
sorry,
no,
man.
I and the president.
We're triggering Manny's PTSD right now.
Oh, I have PTSD to Santeria, Santos, and um Santerias and Santos, and I don't even Espiritistas. Like, but serious shit that I saw in person that I will tell you, like, no, I know that physically stuff happened that was not possibly physical to happen. So
You'll have when you meet my mom, you guys can kind of chat it out, commiserate. Yeah, yeah.
does she live in Puerto Rico or she lives in with you?
She lives with me, but she grew up in Puerto Rico. You know, she grew up with my grandma. So yeah, she has a lot of those stories too.
I wonder, was it because of Cubans in Puerto Rico that she got that exposure, or Puerto Rico is just as
No, no. I mean, I think the Santeria came more from like the Africans and the
Yeah.
Taino Indians, you
no,
know.
I know, but the
So,
Cubans are the kings of the freaking Santeria stuff.
Well, that's
oh, I
because
don't
you're
know. I
Cuban
mean,
living in Miami.
yeah, no. I mean, I
Oh,
think it was just naturally in Puerto Rico. It was just there. I mean, honestly, I can't remember meeting any Cubans until I came to the U.S. But
ah,
I mean, until
Yeah,
the formal states.
it's very much an overall Afro Caribbean thing because of
no, I know,
um,
but it's especially acute with Cubans.
I don't know, man. Because if you think of the proximity to Haiti and the Dominican Republic, and Haitians are like, that's almost like the primary religion in
Yeah,
Haiti.
Haitians are like full on like voodoo down there.
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's big. Yeah, we can definitely do like an adult. Well, maybe Mandy's not gonna want to do it, but I was thinking like an adult like Constantine kind of thing, and
Oh yeah.
super fantastical in the future. But no, we'll stay away from it for now.
I don't know. I don't know that you want to talk about this without. You got to be careful.
Just make sure we get un padrino to come in and bless it before we put it
Yeah,
on air, just in case.
I'm safe. Mom's here. Mom's in the house. Mom keeps us safe. There's like coconuts
Oh,
and everything all over the
Oh
place.
my!
is it? Well, my wife now actually started putting the cups of water at the highest levels in my
Yeah,
Oh
house.
my God!
yeah. We got salt under the beds. We got coconuts everywhere. It's fine. We are safe. We are
You
safe.
got your force field going.
Yeah, we got the force field. Don't worry about
That's
it.
awesome.
All right, so
Well,
what is
cool,
the good
cool guys.
next step?
Fridays, just check out the thing. It's